Hi, my name is Henry Lei, and I'm 13, and I go to BASIS. Today I'm going to interview Mr. Paul Hu.
When I was a child, I was born in 1938 or so. And at that time, the war was raging on in China because the Japanese invaded China. And so the whole country was in turmoil. So at that time I was a little kid. I didn't know too much about it. All I knew is that the Japanese came all the way from Manchuria down to south and to Shanghai, maybe to as far as Guangzhou, which is near by Hong Kong. So in order to escape the invasion, the ravage of an invasion and the massacre in Nanjing, so my parents decided to move the whole family to the western China, which is near Chengdu and Chongqing, where you may recall, those places were the recent earthquake last year. The big, called the Wenchuan earthquake happened, so right near that region, which is very mountainous. So the Japanese didn't have a chance to get there. So what I did is my parents took me, and we essentially go through a long journey from all the way from Shanghai, which is on the east coast, all the way to the western side of the China. And en route, essentially you're running like a refugee. Sometimes you're running, sometimes you're walking, sometimes you do catch a ride somewhere. And along the way you see all the fighting, the bomb fell. And those I remember as a kid. At that time, the Japanese plane come daily to bomb the city. But at that time, the Americans already at war with the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. So they do send a volunteer squadron of Air Force people under General Chennault, who was a very famous general during World War II. And who essentially run an Air Force called the Flying Tiger. The name came from because they paint all the airplane with like a tiger, like a teeth in the front. And to this day, people in China remember General Chennault. So I encourage you have a chance to go to visit Western China, go to a museum called the Flying Tiger Museum in Chengdu, who lists all the servicemen and women that participate in saving the western capital and the adjoining city from total destruction from the Japanese. So essentially I would say I owe my young life to the American servicemen and women during that period of time. In addition to the Air Force, there's a ground troop all the way from Burma, and they under General Stilwell, who built the Burma Road, to keep the nationalist Chinese supply going from Burma to China, because at that time, the total eastern China was occupied by the Japanese. So we lived there from say 1942 or something till 1945, when the American won the war against against the Japanese, and they surrender because of atomic bomb and so forth. So of course after 1945, our whole family, because we being a businessman, we just moved down to the Yangtze River. Yangtze River is one of the biggest river in China, second longest in the world, after Nile River. And that river carries us through the Three Gorges Dam. No, at that time there's no dam, just Three Gorges, and all the way to Shanghai. So we now back to the place I was born, and of course I was very happy. So at that time our family, it was on the run again. We ran from Shanghai, and by bus, by train, or whatever it is, and reaching the southern border of Shenzhen, today called Shenzhen, or Luohu, who's right on the edge of Hong Kong. Now those running, you think it's just running. It is truly very, very difficult, very hardship, and sometimes hard to get any food, and very, very difficult time walking and running and so forth because the massive troops are right behind your back. Even though we're not in anything political, but we were still trying to escape the ravage of war. You know, you go to school, there's always school, okay? But you go to school for a few months, then you have to run and go to another school. And a few months, you have to run again, you know, and that kind of thing. So if you want to learn, you will learn, okay? But you can see running after 2 wars, essentially your family fortune, your family things, it just ran dry. It just totally, you know, house, everything's gone. Once you get to Hong Kong, along with 10 million other Chinese, Cantonese, now 10 million is gradually built up, it's not suddenly, because the border is not very well secure at the time, so people could continue come over a period from 49 to maybe 55, 56, you know. So during that period of time, a lot of people ran over the border, live in Hong Kong. So I'm very happy at that time. I lived there till from 11, maybe till about 16, 17, right around high school, near graduation. And at that time, I was able to come to the United States and come over to study. I came over, and I came from a ship called the President Line. Okay, in other words, all the ships carry a president's name, like President Cleveland, President Roosevelt. So I came on one of those ships, okay, all the way dock from Hong Kong all the way to San Francisco. Okay.
How long did that take?
18 days. That's called a slow boat from China. Remember that expression? I went to work for the #1 company at the time. Guess what? IBM. Because they were the only computer company in the world at that time. I worked there for a total of 38 years. I became an avid inventor. I have lots of US patents, lots of inventions.
So how do you want to be remembered?
What?
Like as a survivor of 2 wars, so.
I do whatever I think I like to do. So I like to be remembered as a person have gone through a lot of hardship, a lot of difficulties, then finally come to a total freedom and liberty in America.